He's back like he never left. Austin Ekeler, shout out to my boy Eki, back on the field.
We've been waiting for this one for a while, man. Two big Ekeler fans here.
And I know you definitely needed it for your dynasty roster and potentially some redraft rosters as well. Let's talk about Austin Ekeler. First game back.
Yeah.
Lacks some of the extra burst, but 24 fantasy points in his return against Buffalo. We saw Joshua Kelly come in and snipe a touchdown from him. I think you just have to get used to that if you're an Austin Ekeler shareholder. And Joshua Kelly was able to put up 7 attempts for 35 yards and a touchdown. But even with that, you're still starting Ekeler every single week.
Yeah, I mean, Eckler's back. 73% of snaps in this game. I thought they'd ease him in, maybe, 10 to 12 touches in this game. They
didn't get the luxury to do that. They were in
a lot of those
comeback
being through the air, so still startable this week. But 73% of snaps, 14 carries, 44 yards, 11 receptions for 85 yards on 16 targets. I don't know, if this is easing him back in. Austin Ekeler is on a rocket ship towards the top of the PPR rest of season rankings. To me, he's a top 5 guy. They had every reason not to give Austin Ekeler this kind of workload, but the fact that he was out there, the fact that it's not just videos of him running on Twitter and him squatting, he's actually on the field putting in this kind of production, you just can't deny it. So how many other running backs are getting 14 carries and 16 targets? The answer is 0 now that Alvin Kamara has Taysom Hill as his quarterback. So to me, tied to Justin Herbert in this offense that's passing the ball a ton. The defense is depleted by injuries, so they're in these shootout games. He is exactly what Justin Herbert needs, and Justin Herbert's a smart guy, right? He knows Keenan Allen's his boy. The other options have been hit or miss. Hunter Henry, Mike Williams, they'll have their moments, but he knows Austin Ekeler's great. He's a great pass-catching running back. It's going to make Justin Herbert's job a lot easier if he can dump the ball off to Austin Ekeler or get Ekeler against a linebacker and easily get open in man-to-man coverage and get 8 to 10 yards on a completion that's 3 air yards. So Justin Herbert's going to use him a ton. The touchdowns, he didn't even score a touchdown in this game, and it was a huge fantasy day. You mentioned Josh Kelly coming in and vulturing that touchdown, but Ekeler was in the red zone near the goal line. It wasn't like, they rotated Josh Kelly in as their guy or, Troy Maine Pope or one of these other guys. They gave Ekeler his fair share. The lanes just weren't there. The holes just weren't there. So I think Ekeler will get into the end zone sooner rather than later. And with the volume, he's a must-start every single week. And if you held on to him in your IR spot or on your bench, you might have held on to someone who's going to come back and be a league winner.
We had to lose Alvin Kamara to get Austin Ekeler.
It's too soon.
The fantasy gods could not let us have both of these two receiving backs we love in PPR. And the two fully healthy games that Ekeler and Herbert have had together, Eckler's had double-digit targets. And this season, in just the games that he's played, he has an 18% target share when on the field. He's used a ton, always running routes out of the backfield, look too early and often. And anyone saying that Keenan Allen, who didn't really have a great game, he had 4 receptions, but he still saw 10 targets. He did actually end up having a touchdown. Anyone saying Keenan Allen takes a hit from Ekeler being back, I think it's a silly take. It was just an inefficient game. That's just part of the variance with wide receivers. I'm not reading into it too much. I'm smashing on Keenan Allen every week. I'm smashing on Austin Ekeler every week.
Steph, Kalen Ballage, for crying out loud, got 9 targets and 6 targets in his past 2 games. So they're funneling a ton of volume to the running back as it is. I'm with you on that Keenan Allen take. I think Keenan will be fine.
And we have a pretty nice schedule here. New England next week, which doesn't get me super excited, but then Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Denver in the fantasy championship. You love that there for the Chargers. Fire them all up. Fire up Justin Herbert. And he's probably on his way to a Rookie of the Year win when this is all said and done in 2020.